So thanks for coming today. Thanks for joining us. We're going to talk today about, we're not going to beat it up because we've already talked about influence, and this is another form of influence we're going to talk about today. We've already talked about Nourish. This is your regular Nourish, and this is the new Nourish with iron, and this is the influence with iron. So we've got a real good following on the influence and Nourish products. But some questions came up this summer about, well, can I just put these products down by themselves, and can I add nitrogen to them, and I do this and that, and I said to people, well, you're under a lot of stress. You've got turf disease. There's a lot of heat. There's a lot of humidity, excess humidity in some places, or in some places we've got drought-like conditions. Now, we all know that if turf is not growing at all, right, and it's brown, probably not going to turn green if we try to put iron on it or nitrogen on it. It's probably just going to stay dormant, and God willing, the rain will fall from the sky and the grass will begin to regrow. However, if it does not regrow, we'll be renovating at whatever time of year is appropriate in your part of the country. But when the grasses are just stressed from either the high heat and the humidity or the high heat and the drought-like conditions, it's just stressed. You don't necessarily want to throw, nitrogen on it and spark it up too hard. But it would be nice if we could give our clients some green. Traditionally, people will reach for iron-type products when they do that, chelated iron products, if you will. There are generally 4 types of iron. And I'm going to kind of start at what I call the bottom and move to the top, and I'll explain the bottom and to the top in a minute. But iron sulfate would kind of be at the bottom, and then EDTA would be next, and then DTPA would be next, and then EDDHA would be at the top. What differentiates these products from one another is the fact that they perform better at certain pHs. So whether that pH is the pH in the ground or the pH in your tank mix, that's kind of where you want to be thinking. Now, most people don't use enough liquid spray to really soak the soil. So the pH in the ground issue isn't likely to cause us much of a factor or much of an issue, if you will. So what we're really mostly concerned about is when someone's doing a foliar application using 1 or 2 gallons per 1,000 square feet or something close to that. And they're really just basically doing a foliar application on turf, not getting a true soil drench. Soil drench would be when you're getting upwards of 4, 5, 6 plus gallons per 1,000 square feet. Unless, of course, you're on a golf course, then you don't have as much grass canopy, so you'll get down to the soil faster. But in any case, to try to bring this to a focal point, when we went to look at how can we give somebody a good chelated iron, we wanted to give them a chelated iron that we could deliver with a product that was also going to help them combat stress. And bam, we thought of our influence and our Nourish products because they are stress reduction products. So instantly we went to thinking about how can we make these products provide a little more green up while not adding nitrogen that's going to cause extra stress on extra humid, extra dry, extra hot turf, or ornamentals or trees, because these products can easily be used on ornamental shrubs and perennials and what have you, as well as trees. But for the ease and simplicity of our conversation today, we're just going to kind of hang with turf a little bit. And so when we look at the different forms of iron chelates to add to great stress reduction mixes like Influence and Nourish, you can tell that these jugs, if our camera clarity is good enough and what you're seeing is clear enough, you see more of a reddish tint to the top of this jug, and you clearly see a more red looking powder in this bag. That's your iron, okay? It's as simple as that. That's your iron. All right, so this is a 2-pound bag of Nourish. This is a 3-pound bag of Nourish with iron. And this is Influence by itself, nice and dark brown. This is Influence with a chelated iron. We decided when we were looking at the iron sulfate there at the bottom, which is all these 4, I'll go over the chelates again, like iron sulfate, EDTA, and what's the other one? DTPA, and then EDDHA. When you look at all 4 of those, they're all good in 4.0 to 5.5 pHs. They all work there. They all work pretty well. We have a personal preference to the EDDHA for multiple reasons, but I'll get to that in a minute. But all 4 do tend to work at that pH range. When you go to a 5.5 to about a 7.0 pH, really the only ones that work are the DTPA chelate and the EDDHA chelate. What happens when you get above that 5.5 pH is your iron sulfate and your EDTAs tend to get less soluble. So the higher your pH goes, your iron sulfate and your EDTA chelate, they tend to get less soluble. So you start leaning when you're in that 5.5 to 7.0 range, you start looking more closely at the DTPA iron chelate product, and then you also look at the EDDHA iron chelate product. And so that works in that range. But now what happens if you have a water whose pH is just naturally like 6.7, 6.8, 7.0, 7.2, 7.3. When you start seeing pHs like that or higher, now that knocks out not only the iron sulfate at the bottom or the EDTA next up, but it also knocks out the DTPA chelate, and you're left with EDDHA, which performs at all of the pH ranges. And of course, we wanted to make sure that we delivered a product that would perform at all those pH ranges. And so we went with the EDDHA. So that's a lot about iron chelate that you may not have wanted to know today. However, if you are reaching for something that's going to help you get some green up in periods of heat stress, humidity stress, drought stress, when nitrogen's not really a great option and you don't want to burn something with the nitrogen, now you can reach for Influence for your stress reduction or Nourish for your stress reduction. And if you want to add that touch of green, you can get the Influence with the EDDHA iron chelate or the Nourish with the EDDHA iron chelate. That's pretty much it for now. We're getting really good feedback from people on this product. We're getting nice green up. As long as the grass is alive, we're getting nice green up. I've spoken with a lot of contractors who are using these products so that I could get feedback from them, not just from ourselves in our own service applications, which we're using in both turf and on ornamentals. But I've gotten this feedback from those other contractors. They really like this product. I had one today that said to me, this is the best iron chelate that I've used in 5 years. He's really thrilled with this product. And if he's watching this, thank you very much for that comment, because it played in well here today. So take care, everybody, and until the next time, good luck with your iron chelates and EDDHA. Bye-bye now.